All right, so we are live. We are live. Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love, to Astro Fenixx, flying into the moment yet again and radiating love as always. And I did promise you all that I was going to be making a video talking about some automatic writing. If you haven't already checked it out, look at my video. I made a video for the new moon in Gemini. And one of the practices that I recommended in that video for this new moon cycle, which even though the moon has just slipped into Cancer, we still have all this Gemini energy, right? We have Venus here, Mercury, the North Node, and the Sun. So we can definitely still talk about this. But I recommended something called automatic writing. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But I want to introduce my lovely guest here. We have BeetheInfinity. I've done a couple of readings for her. She's a really cool person, Scorpio Sun, Gemini Moon. And I myself have like no Gemini energy. So I thought it'd be really cool and awesome to bring someone on the channel who has Gemini energy. She also has Jupiter there as well. So why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and, how have you been dealing with all this craziness that's going on?
Well, I think for me, it's kind of day by day. So each day is kind of different and presents new challenges. And I think it's kind of like, it kind of brought me back even to 2012 in terms of my journey. Yeah, it's kind of triggering a lot of things from back that time. So now it's just kind of like reflecting back, especially with this retrograde energy and stuff that's coming, and eclipse energy and all this other stuff. So it's kind of just making me be very reflective and thinking back to that time and where I've come, how far I've come and all that stuff, and what I want to do at this point,
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you mentioned that, because it does feel like 2012 all over again. It's like, I mean, that was a big galactic shift in and of itself, but it feels like this year is kind of similar in a way. It kind of feels like it's, even though like the world's going through like some major stuff, it almost feels a little bit more intimate, if that makes any sense. It feels like each and every one of us is going through like some sort of crazy, insane shift. But then like, if you look at the collective, you can obviously see
the collective shift. Yeah,
it's just kind of crazy. So it's and it feels like, I mean, we're like we're towards the end of May. It feels like this year is going by fast and slow at the same time. But you're right, it is a kind of a day by day thing.
Yeah, time is really just like, it's like during this time, like time's an illusion. Like
time is drunk right now. I think time is drunk. Like, it doesn't know. Saturn doesn't know if she wants to like be sober or not sober. And probably because she knows that as soon as Saturn hits, and Saturn is female, by the way, but as soon as Saturn hits Pisces, time is definitely going to be drunk. So we're kind of like, we're kind of getting like the precursor to that. It's hard to keep up with.
Yeah. That's why I've kind of just taken day by day, because I'm gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, I want to plan things, and then I'm like, okay, well, what's the point in that? Like,
I know, right? I've had several plans fall through because of this, and I probably could have went through with them, but it didn't quite, or at least one of them. I was supposed to fly out to Washington, like kind of towards the end of March, and I probably could have, because it was right before everything blew up, but me and my wife didn't want to risk it, so we stayed here, and now we're just both kind of like, kind of getting a little bit of cabin fever. We go out as much as we can. Things are starting to open up, but it's just still like, it's just weird. I've never seen this before.
It would be definitely interesting to do, like, we'll do the, what do you call it? Like by each state has their own thing, like zodiac, personality sign, all the chart, right? So it's like the different personalities kind of coming out, right? Like, so some are more like
very interesting to do, to look at the birth chart of each state. I never even thought about that, but that's pretty, because I think I did look up the birth chart of Georgia, but I couldn't remember exactly what we were.
Yeah,
I almost want to say we were like a Scorpio or a Libra, but I can't remember.
I think because I'm in Arizona, I think it was like a Capricorn, but with an Aquarius moon or something, like just some weird like
Oh wow, really?
resistance, like want to be traditional but want to be forward at the same time and being confused, like so.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah. So you're in Arizona right now?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
That's awesome. So how is Arizona dealing with this whole mess right now? Are
Well,
people staying indoors? Are they complying? Or are they like fuck it? Or
so you have a group of people that's like very like in compliance, right? Like they wear their masks and all that.
yeah.
Then you have another group of people that's like it's like the wild wild west sometimes. Like people are just like, I'm gonna do whatever I'm gonna do and you can't stop me. And there's definitely that side as well. So
Wow. Yeah, it's interesting. Over here, it's like I think a lot of people were kind of going out anyways. I think in like the first few weeks of it, you barely saw any cars on the road.
yeah.
And that was just strange. It was just so strange to see that. Like I was able to get to the city in 30 minutes. And we have
Yeah.
like, really shit traffic here in Atlanta. But now I'm like, obviously more and more people are coming out. I see more young people wearing masks than older people. It's kind of interesting. I don't like wearing a mask because it fogs up my glasses. So
yeah. And I like for a lot of people, they're like, okay, I want to be, respectful, but literally I can't breathe in them. So
right.
do I pass out or do like
Exactly.
weighing the options there? But yeah, a lot of the older people here, or at least from what I observed, like when the casinos opened up, they're like, I'm there, like
Really?
I'll risk like so I mean I
didn't
guess
know I didn't know
because
Arizona had a lot of casinos.
yeah, we have a huge like Native American, indigenous, like Indian casinos.
Oh, that
So
makes
it's a
sense.
huge amount of them here, and they have compacts with the state to run casinos.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. I want to like kind of like, and we'll get into the writing a bit too, guys. But I kind of want to like pick your brain a little bit, just because you do have that Gemini moon, and I feel like right now we're dealing with this whole social distancing thing, and we're like, a lot of people are afraid of their neighbors, and Gemini does rule kind of like your neighborhood and your close proximity, and it rules the people kind of in like, not, it doesn't necessarily rule the home, but it rules the people like in your nearest vicinity, whereas Sagittarius is like faraway lands. So like as a Gemini moon, like how do you feel about like just how do you feel about this time? Like, how do you feel about, everyone doing them pushing the social distancing thing? And, it's like, I don't know, for me, it's like, I feel like we need each other. Like we need to hug each other. We need to be there for each other. But now they're trying to keep everyone separate. And I just wonder how that's going to affect our psyche. But like, as a Gemini moon, like, how do you feel into that?
I think like it's funny because I think it has obviously affected everyone, but it's affected me in that my Scorpio played out a lot, I think too. Just because I'm like, okay, like I don't really go out a lot of places anyway, so I have a very like pretty regimented way of living. So,
Right.
it didn't affect me that much in the terms of like, oh, like I can't do all the things because I really don't do all the things anyway. But the things I do, it's kind of like when I wanted to hike, and it was like out here, actually, people in the beginning, at least, people were actually getting outside in the trails and stuff. And then, that it was kind of like, well, that's my place. That's where I go, to clear my head.
Okay.
So,
that's where you go to get away from everyone.
so you're there and it's like you're just crowding there. Like, and I don't like that anyway, social distancing or not. So, but also too, like the places I do go to, the smaller places where it was just like, oh, I just miss seeing their faces. Like, like my favorite coffee place or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they're closed, when they were closed, or my favorite, like, restaurant, and they were closed. And it's like, oh, like, it's so sad. So I recently just went back to some of them and I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy to see you. Like, all this time.
It is crazy, right? It's like people that you see on a day-to-day basis or every so often, even just in your local community, you don't really realize, I guess, how much you miss that sort of stuff. Even if you don't see these people every day or super often, it's like there's I feel like we in America, we've kind of lost a sense of like community. It's usually like a lot of people don't even know their neighbors and stuff. But I
Yeah.
feel like this time, ironically, at least in the beginning of it, almost sort of pushed people together because I was doing grocery delivery, right? Because the restaurant that I worked at, closed down. They're only doing to go, so I can't work 'cause I'm a server. But I was doing grocery delivery, and while I'm driving around delivering groceries, I saw so many people outside, like so
Yeah.
much more than ever. Like so many people are outside. Kids are actually playing outside again. It's crazy because I
Yeah,
guess.
I did like seeing that, and like families out, like
Mhm.
out and about, and that was really nice to see. And even just like my neighborhood, there was some trails that I hadn't like walked before, and I was just
Yeah,
like, "Hey, this is a trail that's here. Like this is nice. Like I actually like my neighborhood. Like
yeah,
this is a nice place, you know."
that's good. That's very
Yeah.
good. But I feel like it's having all kinds of different effects, I guess, and hopefully
Yeah.
we can get to some semblance of normal. But I think this was honestly a big wake up call because I don't think the normal that we had before
Yeah,
this was even
it wasn't
aligned.
working.
It
And
wasn't working.
I think that's what people are starting to get, where also with the social distancing, I think you have like the issue at hand, right? Why we're doing the social distancing. But you're also seeing things such as mental health becoming to the forefront, like people being shut in and that being a health issue as well, and that
Right.
affecting people's health as well. So
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think that's going to be a huge theme of like actually taking mental health seriously and like,
Mhm. No, I agree. Mental health is so serious. I think it's as someone who, I take medication for anxiety and stuff and it's helped, but I also try and do other things to kind of work with it. And as someone who, deals with anxiety and I've dealt with panic attacks in the past, not really so much anymore now, but minor ones do come up every now and again. I know that that's a whole subject that we're just not really even addressing with this issue right now is that it's going to spark a lot of people's, their mental aspects, their mental capacity. And, it's going to, hopefully we can, start to, you know, create a dialogue and a conversation about that because I think it's so very important. I don't even have like a lot of air energy anyways. I mean, I have like Venus and Libra and Saturn in Aquarius. So like I kind of get the air stuff, but I'm mostly
but not
like
really.
I'm water and I'm mostly water and earth because my Capricorn stellium. And I have a little bit of fire, but I don't have a lot of air. So I mean, but I still think it's important to have those conversations because you're right. Like people are going to be shut in and stuff, and
I mean,
they're
I
not
call
going to realize that they need
this
that
whole
communication.
time, it's like in Harry Potter, the Bogarts that changes form. That's what this whole
Mhm.
time is reminding me of. Like whatever your fears are, it just like comes out, and then you have to
Right.
deal with it somehow, or you're just gonna sit there petrified, like
No, that's
so.
a good analogy. Because that's definitely true. It's like it's harder to run away from ourselves right now because
Yeah.
where are we going to run? Because normally the home would be where you would run away from. Like when you have a problem somewhere, you would run away to your home, and it works for a little bit, but it only works because you're able to leave the home once you're starting to get angsty. But
Mm-hmm.
now that people are stuck at home and they can't run
There's
away from
nowhere to go.
their problems have followed them into their home and they can't get rid of them. And it's like, I thought I left you out there. I'm like, nope. And they just like take up residence on your couch and now you have to deal with your problems.
But like that, because I was just been like on like Harry Potter like lately, but that
Yeah.
the fact that like at least dealing with like Dementors and all that, but
Hmm.
finding the happiness, like you have to think of happy thoughts and like
Hmm.
your light, right? Like to get rid of it, you have to like find in like you have to dig deep, and that's what vanquishes like Dementors or whatever, right?
Right.
So yeah, that's I feel like that's this whole time. It's just
I think
like,
so. I think so too. And I even just taking into account this new moon in Gemini. When I think of Gemini, of course, you think of twins and you think of the mirrors. So I'm thinking in Harry Potter, the what's it called, the mirror of Erised, which like you look into it and you see your desires because Erised's literally desire backward. And it's interesting too because I'm like, I feel like you probably would really resonate with that because desire typically is ruled by Scorpio. You know, a lot of times we can be ruled by our desires, be them positive or negative, and then we'll attract these things into our life based off of those desires. So it's like I think a lot of us are kind of looking into that mirror right now, and we're seeing things that we desire or have desired. And now that they're popping up, we're asking ourselves, did I really want this thing?
yeah,
Like,
I don't know.
do I really want this lifestyle? Like, it's like, you know.
Or what is this even doing here? Like, how did
Right.
this get here? Like, is this left over from something else, or did my parents put this? What? How did this get here? You know,
That's a good one. Did my parents put this here? Because a lot
Yeah.
of us, we have stuff in our mirror that our parents put there, and I think for the most part they mean well, but because they were conditioned too, just like any human was, they were conditioned upon by their parents. But we, you know, we're part of like this unique generation where we're wanting to kind of change that narrative more and just allow people, it's like it's okay for you to express and be who you are, you know, and you know your parents' journey is their journey. It doesn't have to be your journey. So it's a weird balance though too. It's like this weird balance. Like I myself, I want to have kids, but I'm also worried, oh crap, what if I subconsciously program them to do something and
which you will. That's the funny part. You will, like, ultimately, right? Like they'll catch on things that you do, mannerism or whatever, and they're gonna have to deal with it. I mean, everyone has to have a starting point. I think that's what I've learned at this point. It's like whatever you're doing, it's like there's a starting point at, you know, in your journey, right? And you can't really avoid that. You can't just like apparate and then you're like your desired goal,
right?
You know.
I like that. It's funny, we're like 18 minutes into this and we haven't done any writing yet. But,
right. That's Gemini though for you.
That is Gemini. See, guys, we can't even stay focused, right? But I think it's good though because, like, in a sense, we kind of are writing anyways. We're just kind of letting things flow,
right?
And that sort of stuff. One thing I want to mention before we do a little bit of writing here is I was looking ahead into the transits, and I noticed that we're gonna have a new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius later this year, and it's actually going to be exactly opposite your moon in Gemini. I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, this whole year is just like with my Capricorn stuff going on, and then
So you're not even surprised by that, huh?
No, not at all.
Oh, that's funny. Well, guys, we're going to do just a little bit of writing here. You know, really, I know we haven't written much in this video, but at the very least, I want to, you know, if you don't know about this, I wanted to introduce it to you all and kind of give you like an example of it so you can take this tool and use it. You don't have to use it just when the moon's in Gemini. You can do this whenever you want. It's a very healing and therapeutic practice. I myself do it quite a bit. Oftentimes I find myself just writing poetry, but you can write literally whatever. You can write a letter to yourself. You can write a letter to someone. You can literally write whatever you want. But the goal is to essentially, you kind of set a timer and you just write, and you just write continuously. It doesn't matter. You don't have to try and figure anything out. It's kind of like word vomit on, you know, the paper, which is kind of perfect for Gemini because Gemini, you know, that energy can just go off and off and off and off and off. It can be very entertaining. Sometimes it can be like, oh my gosh, stop talking. But yeah, so if you want to join us during this time, we'll probably do it for like, I don't know. We'll probably just do like short little spurts, like maybe like a minute or two here. And then if you want, you can share what you have written, BeetheInfinity, and I can share what I've written. I can actually go ahead and share one thing that I wrote before you came on. And this is pretty much how I've been feeling this whole time, or at least today. So I wrote this really quick. All right. impulses, electrical waves ushering in new frontiers of experience and harvest, pushing me forth, far forth from my comfort zone. Oh, how I long to do nothing, be nothing. Yet here I am, wanting, wishing for more. So I suppose it's time to heed this storm and get to it. Will lightning wake me from this lethargic slumber? Blah. Will lightning wake me from this lethargic slumber? Essentially, I've been lazy, guys. And there's like a storm outside, so I thought maybe that's like trying to like the universe trying to wake me. I was like, hey, do something, go forth. But there's a part of me that just wants to like not do anything during like this whole shutdown. I just
Yep.
I just don't want to do anything. It's my Pisces moon. Sometimes my Pisces moon is like the life of the party, but then there's other times where I just such a homebody, don't want to do anything.
Yeah, it is what it wants to be. That's the thing.
So let's see. At the timer, it's at all right. So it's at 20. We've been live for 21 minutes. So when it hits 22, we can start, and we'll go to like I don't know. What do you want to do? Like a minute and a half?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, we'll just do a minute. We'll see how much we can write in a minute. You'll be surprised at how much you can write in a minute. Once you do this practice often, you'll be surprised at how much you can write. And hopefully you guys can hear the music in the background too. But I have some music. Pretty good? Awesome. So we got about 20 seconds before it's automatic writing session for a minute. Let's see what we can get out. All right. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, that was a minute and a half right there.
Okay.
That was a minute and a half. That was pretty good. I think next time I might set a timer so we can. I think it might be a little bit better. Do you want to share what you've written?
Okay, so mine is actually really like, kind of like, I feel like it's like Sagittarius inspired. But anyway.
Oh, there you go.
Okay,
good deal.
So it's loading the arrow, aiming, letting go, no control over the air and the elements. We can control our breath and allow our thoughts to pass through.
Wow, there you go. It's a nice little meditation. I like that. You know, it's like taking aim, and it's like when you're taking aim too. It's like when you have to take a deep breath and almost hold your breath so you can like get that perfect aim. And sometimes, you know, I think sometimes we get almost like afraid to hold our breath while we're taking aim. I like that though. That's interesting. That's good. Well, like I said, I usually end up writing just like poetry or something like that. But I think all this is poetry. That's what I love about it. So I got let's go and flow. Will any of this make sense or does it matter? You matter. Oh no, but you're here, aren't you? Still linked up as well to the mothership. So you might as well have fun on this journey we call life. Cast your line out and see how far you can go. Okay, the time is coming. We'll be waiting eagerly for arrival. Yeah, that's what I got. So
Nice.
I'm not really sure where that came from. And I think that's like, I complained about people.
Well, I think it's nice too because I think of when I think of like fishing, like casting a line, right? When people go fishing, I feel like it's just an excuse. I mean, yeah, they want to catch a fish, but like it's to be around, it's to have your mind be quiet, like, quiet your mind. It's about taking in the elements. It's about, you know, or talking to someone, or, you know, you're kind of just out there. It's the excuse of being out there.
Yeah. I think so. It's like, for me, it's like, I don't really go fishing. I've been fishing maybe once in my life.
I've never been fishing, so I don't know. But that's what I gather from people I do.
Like to I had like this vision of like an astronaut, and you have like that little line to like the ship. But then I said something about casting your line out. So it's like, I wonder, you know, kind of where that came from. So maybe there's kind of like a double meaning in there. That was all Pisces moon. And sometimes I want to be able to channel like my other stuff. Like I have Mercury and Sag, you know, and sometimes I'm able to channel that, and I have Mars and Scorpio and stuff. So it's, you know, but I get very metaphorical. Like it's like sometimes it was funny. I like, you know, like on Facebook, like you have like your Facebook memories and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I've been going through, and I'll look at my Facebook memories, and I'll look at my statuses from like back when I was in high school, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. Like I was such an unnecessarily melodramatic teenager. There's nothing necessarily bad happened to me, but I was so melodramatic, and I was so in my Scorpio energy. Maybe it's like that. I was so melodramatic for no reason. Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't even, because, you know, for me, it's this whole time, I think it's just maybe like confirmed that I don't like to be in social media quite as much. So in high school, I was the same way. Like I was just like, if you don't know me, if you don't have my email, if you don't know my phone number, then you don't know me. So like,
I mean, just the other day, I hung out with some people from high school, and one of them, I see him like, you know, every few months or so. The other ones, I hadn't seen them in like a long, long time. But for the most part, I don't talk to too many people from high school, and I've been out of high school for 10 years now. So it would have been my 10-year reunion this year. But with everything that's happened, I don't think that's
right. There's something happening.
That's going to happen. So it's
have a virtual reunion.
Yeah, virtual reunion, but yeah, I think this time is putting a lot of things in perspective for us, especially now with Venus retrograde and Gemini too. That's a whole other thing that we could talk about. You know, where's your Venus? I can't remember where
in Virgo.
Oh, there you go.
And my Mars is in Scorpio. No, my Mars, not my Scorpio, and Pisces. So.
Oh wow! Oh, that's right. They oppose each other.
Yeah.
Wow. How's that been for you? That sounds like a fun energy to deal with.
Yeah, it is. I think too, for me, I've been dealing with kind of embracing that more of my Mars energy, like the way it is. Like, I think for a long time I fought it. Like, I was trying to make it be like, you know, be more assertive, like be like, scan your grant, all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Or like just do more things, do all the things. And so now I've kind of been like just allowing things to flow a lot more. Like obviously stuff comes up, you know, confrontations come up, but kind of just like allowing it to flow a lot more and not be so like agitated to start things or whatever, you know.
I think it's kind of cool though, because it's literally at the edge of Pisces. So it's like, you know, I see it almost like, you know, you think of Mars, you think of like the warrior, but since it's like at the edge of Pisces, it's like right on that Alpha and Omega like cusp. So it's almost
Yeah.
like it makes you kind of like a spiritual warrior in a sense. And I think it's
Yeah.
also kind of weird too because like Venus is probably jealous of your Mars because Venus rather be in Pisces, but Mars
Right.
Mars is probably like, don't be jealous. I don't necessarily want to be.
Like, I don't want to be, and I feel like that's like my personality, where it's like
Yeah.
I know things, but I don't really want to know things. Like I don't
Right.
really, but I do ultimately.
Yeah.
So, but it's funny because even when my parents, one's Aries and one's a Pisces. So
Oh wow.
literally it was like, yep. So it explains a lot.
That Aries and Pisces energy is kind of. I think I know one other couple that has that Aries Pisces energy, and their son's a Gemini, so that's kind of interesting mix. But it's that Alpha and Omega energy.
Yeah.
It's so powerful. Yeah.
So I've been just trying to embrace that a lot more and just kind of trying to let go of like control and all this stuff,
Yeah, I got you. I got you. So let's go ahead. Let's do another 2 minutes. And I actually have a timer here now. So I'll probably make it a lot easier. And yeah, well, let's go ahead and do it for another 2 minutes and then we'll come back and then we'll do one more. And then for that last one, I'll do like I want to do something like kind of different for the last one, but I think it'll be cool. So
Okay.
So let's go ahead and start. Oh, there you go. Okay. I felt like that one was very Sagittarius that came out. I had no idea how it was gonna come. It was very Sagittarius that came out with that one. I'll go ahead and share mine. I want to fly, but I cannot. Only metaphorically, but that's honestly not enough. I want to fly, truly fly, and be free. Ultimate freedom, go wherever and be wherever. No bounds, no limits. I'll dip in the most serene of waters and glide through hollow canyons, touch the tops of the tallest trees, and perch atop the largest buildings, glance into the eye of God, and chase the sunset as it all fades away.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. That was definitely
Okay.
very It's just like be free. No limits, no bounds, no rules.
Oh, Pisces moon.
Pisces moon, Sagittarius. Yeah, it's like that's another thing too. It's like I've always wanted to travel since I was a kid, and I never really got the opportunity to travel like I wanted to. And admittedly, when I hit like my 20s, my mid 20s, I didn't really make the decisions to set that up for myself. But now I'm starting to get the opportunity to travel. And then this happened. And I'm like,
dang it.
am I ever going to make it to Japan? Like, I really want to go I have so many places I want to go. But if I could fly, I could go there.
It wouldn't matter.
Right. Right. So what did you get during that last one?
Okay, mine went like, I don't know. Anyway. So I wrote the roots go into the ground, and if they cannot find water, they will go deeper until it appears. If it is there if we look for it.
Oh, I like that. The roots will go deeper, and if they can't find it, it'll be what can you say it again? It's like the roots will go deeper. If they can't find water,
They will go, basically, if they can't find water, then it'll go deeper to find it, right? And then until it appears. And then if it is there if we look for it. There
you go. I like that. That's very deep. That's very Scorpio. Well, what's interesting about it too is like, yeah, sometimes you have to dig really deep to find that reservoir of water to give you some nourishment, and sometimes it can be scary to dig that far deep.
I feel like that's like my Gemini and Scorpio playing off on each other. Like there is an acquisitive nature to both. You know, that's like one likes to go all the way in and like dig in, and then the other one just wants to do all the things. So
right, but it's like interesting. Like, have you noticed like maybe like if you can focus kind of like your Gemini, do you find that like your ability to just kind of go for what you want is just like, or do you still kind of get sidetracked by the Gemini moon? Or have you like have you figured out a way to kind of like harmonize those energies?
Sometimes I just need to do random things. Like sometimes I just need to do all like have a moment where I'm just trying to do everything. But I feel like again, what I was talking about my Mars and Pisces, kind of like I think that's why I have it. It kind of morphs into what I need it to. But I don't even remember once I start. Like if I really want something, I don't even really remember all the steps. It's just like tunnel vision. It's just like I'm there. So it's like there's times even where, you know, I've traveled and stuff and I'm like, how did I put everything together? Like there were so many steps, but I don't remember any of them. Like
that's crazy, right? Like that's kind of a weird thing about memory. It's like you think back of like I don't even necessarily remember all of the steps that I've taken to this point. Like memory is a very funny thing, so that's kind of interesting that you mentioned that. But that's what makes this time even weirder is like we're taking it day by day, and it seems like, you know, it really is kind of hard to predict the future, which is why Aquariuses are freaking out right now because and Virgos as well. Aquarius and Virgo. Aquarius knows the future, and you know, Virgo's always trying to plan for the future. So it's like that's what makes it kind of hard for them. And even Sagittarius, because Sagittarius likes to make plans, or as far as like, you know, they like to make plans and they want to go out and do stuff. But
I feel like they don't want to be contained, you know.
Right.
So
they don't want to be contained. They definitely don't. My progressed sun is in Sagittarius, so I mean I have a good bit of that energy. It's just I think it's a little bit muted by my Pisces energy. Even though they're ruled by Jupiter as well, but it's still kind of muted by that. And then I'm a Virgo midheaven, so it's like I'm supposed to be a hermit.
You're like I'm okay, kind of okay with this, but
I'm kind of okay with this. Like everyone's like, oh no, we got to stay at home. We gotta shelter in place. I'm like, I was sheltering in place before it was cool because the world is a crazy place.
Yeah. I mean, my midheaven is in Scorpio, so I'm telling you, like.
So you get it then. You get it. You're used to just like Because there's the part of Scorpio where we can tap into the Mars aspect and we can kind of be the life of the party and stuff. But then there's the other part of Scorpio where we prefer to be, where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna just kind of keep to myself and work on these
Mind my
projects.
own business. Like,
Right. I'm gonna work on my own business, work on my own keep and stuff. So it's definitely interesting. But yeah, this has been fun. This has been very nice. Kind of like shook me out of my. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, it's been nice. It was because I was just kind of being a blob, so
yeah,
nice.
I was in kind of like a weird funk today. Not that anything was wrong or bad about today. It's just I was just in that mood. I just I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do anything. I'm like, it's like, come on, get up and do. I was setting timers on our Alexa device. I was like, set a timer for 5 minutes and I'll close my eyes. I was like, add 3 more minutes. Add 3. I was just like,
see, I was just like watching like shows on like Animal Planet. That's what I was doing. Like, I don't want to watch people right now. I'm just gonna watch like puppies and like animals and.
I miss Animal Planet so much. I used to my favorite show on there used to be The Most Extreme. It's like they would count down like the most extreme like swimmers or the most extreme like fastest animals or most extreme venomous animals. And it was like a top 10. Do you remember that show? It was like a while ago.
I remember that show. Yeah.
Yeah, I miss Animal Planet, like the OG Animal Planet. I haven't watched. We don't have regular cable, so
yeah.
But I do love nature documentaries. Like sometimes I'll just turn on some nature documentaries and just watch them. I used to do it more than I do now, but it was really fun back when I was doing that.
Yeah, I think part of it is just like the need to like just watch nature, watch forms of nature, just like try to ground, Yeah,
because we're so far removed from it, but it's so important to get out into nature as much as we can and ground and all that good stuff. So yeah, I was thinking for like this last one, we can still do the automatic writing and just kind of write what comes to mind. But I thought it'd be kind of cool to give us a theme, and I wanted to draw an oracle card for that. So yeah, so I have this is my Sacred Geometry Oracle card deck, and I'm giving it a really good shuffle here so I can make sure I get something good. But yeah, do you have like anything to say to like our guest here? Do you have like any like words of advice during this time, or just like your general reflections on what's going on, or words of encouragement, anything like that?
I would say just stick to your basics. So make sure you're getting like it's like really the basics. Like make sure you're like drinking your water, like the stuff that like everyone knows they have to do, but they don't really do it. Like
right.
But like with the days where you just really just don't know what to do, it's like that really is like the first thing you should do. Like go back to your basics. Make sure you're getting your sun, like a little bit of sun, like make sure you're getting your water, make sure you're getting a little bit of interaction. Like it really is important to get those basic things, because without that, you're not going to be able to firmly do anything,
Right. I totally agree with that. There are days where I'm so good about drinking enough water, and there are other days where it's like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, and I'm like, I have not had nearly enough water today.
You're like, I get where I'm like, I've like haven't drinking any water, but I've had like 3 cups of coffee. Like I'm ready. Like, like.
Right. It can get, but it really, that's so important though. Getting like those basic needs met, drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, which I think I've been getting more than enough sleep. My Pisces moon just loves sleep. I have no problem.
Sleep is just the best.
It's the best. Like I just I feel like most of my spiritual work is done through dreams. So when I'm like in my waking reality, it's probably why I don't want to do too much. It's like I already did so much work.
So much.
You ask me some, but I don't know. For me, my words of encouragement, I guess, to everyone would just be to remember to treat yourself with more kindness. I feel like kindness is like it's like become like a big pillar right now as far as like my philosophy in life and how I feel like we just need
Yes.
to treat each other with more kindness. And it starts with the self,
Mm-hmm.
complimenting yourself. Right, I like to write little notes to myself sometimes, and then I sometimes I'll forget about them, and then I'll see them later. I'm like, "You're awesome!" Like, "Oh, that's a nice little pick me up," or it can be as simple as, going out on a walk by yourself, treating yourself with more kindness because I feel like that's really what matters at the end of this. It's like all the money that we accumulate, all the stuff that we accumulate, all that sort of stuff. Like it's cool, don't get me wrong,
Nice.
but
Yeah.
what matters is how we treat each other. That's what we really remember, with people. So I would say just treat yourself with kindness, and you're probably doing better than you think that you are, because we're all in this together. It's been very tough for everyone, whether they lost their job or they not. Maybe they've lost someone during this time. Whether you believe in the conspiracies with all this or not is really irrelevant. I think it comes down to treating each other with more kindness. If we can be more kind to ourselves and to each other, then we can create a better world. But it just takes kind of like one step at a time. So just give yourself the benefit of the doubt. I would say I would do that. But we're going to do one more writing session, and then we're going to get out of here. But I hope that you all enjoyed this so far. Hope that you all have participated. At the very least, you now have another tool in your arsenal, or just something fun to do whenever you feel like doing some writing. And it's good to if you haven't been writing a lot or you want to write or journal, to just set a timer for like a minute or two and just get down and just literally vomit. And you don't have to share it with anyone unless you want to. But you don't have to share it with anyone. It can literally just be for you. And it's good. I find it's a very good spiritual practice, at least for me. So the word that interesting. So the card that I actually drew was the card of synergy.
Mm-hmm.
Synergy. So we're going to be writing for 2 minutes. Actually, I want to see. I'm going to do, I wonder if I can do this. Hold on. If I can set like a particular timer. We're going to do 2 minutes and 22 seconds, just because. All right. So synergy. What comes to mind when I think of synergy? All right. Let's see. Oh no, where did my clock? Okay, there we go. All right. 1, 2, 3. We're good to go. Beep, beep, beep. Okay. Awesome. It took me like a few seconds to get going there, but I was able to figure it out. So, would you like to share yours first?
Sure. My writing is horrible when it comes to automatic writing. I'm like, what is this? What did I write? Anyway, so I said, getting out of our own way. We are all experts in our chosen fields. How can we come together without clashing? Maybe it's not about the cautious approach. Maybe it needs to happen simultaneously to work itself out. You have more allies than you know coming around you to support you.
Oh, that's great. I love that. I love that. Yours are very like, so like a lot of times mine come out super metaphorical, but yours are just like, well, I like the inclusiveness of that last one. It's like, you have people around you, you have more supporters than you realize. And I think, a lot of times I feel like even in this kind of like almost like in the spiritual community, like sometimes we like kind of shut ourselves off because we're on this path of discovery and stuff. And then we're like wondering, oh, people aren't going to get me and everything. But we have a lot more support than we realize. Within the community and even outside the community too. So I think that's really important to remember, to not, put yourself in such a box to where you feel like no one's going to understand you. And I think that's a mistake that a lot of people make at the beginning of the spiritual journey. At least I know that's one I made, where it's like, I was just, I thought I was thinking I was so different than everyone else around me that no one would really understand what I was going through. And then I realized, oh, wait, I'm kind of just like everyone else. Yeah, I do have my own unique journey, but, I'm not so different to where no one will get me. So I like that. But this is what I got. This is what I got. Synergy is an eagle that learns the grace of a swan, and a swan that learns the fierceness of an eagle. Appreciation rises. It is taking someone as a part of yourself so as to eliminate any semblance of self, leaving a oneness. Synergy can be ketchup and mustard if you want it to be, I suppose. Synergy is masculine and feminine to create new life. I am the result of synergy, and so are you. How cool is that? I don't know where that ketchup and mustard thing came in.
Yeah.
I was just like, couldn't think of anything, so it just kind of came out. But yeah, I don't even really like ketchup and mustard like that. It just came up. That's what's like. It can be that, I guess. If you want it to,
you can mix it together.
I mean, we all have like what's a weird food combination that you do or used to do? Because I think we all have them.
Well, I just think, like, okay, I don't really like it, but like, how like Thousand Islands, like the dressing is like ketchup and like, what's it, mayonnaise and like relish or something?
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, like, like, but people really like it though, and they're two
people really like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think they used to put like their ketchup and mayonnaise and like mashed potatoes growing up, and I never really understood that. I saw weird stuff like that. When I was a kid, I used to make peanut butter and syrup sandwiches. So
wow,
but what I would do is I would take the syrup and I would put it on one of the pieces of bread and let it soak in a little bit.
You had method. Yeah.
It was a method to the madness. And then I would eat that. And looking back, I'm like, that was probably terrible for me, like health-wise, but it was so good.
I was the kid that would like separate my food.
Oh, like, you separated your food?
I would have my pasta. I would have my pasta, and then I would have like my sauce, and then my cheese, and then they couldn't touch each other because if they did, then yeah. So
everyone has their own method.
Mixing thing,
though, because like even though they're separate, it still works for you, and it all works together. So it's like I think synergy can mean different things for different people. You have different combinations and stuff like that. But I think that's pretty interesting. But yeah, we all have our own different unique makeup and how we're going about this. We all have like our own chart, and I kind of want to like one day, like hopefully I meet like my astro twin, like someone who's literally born at the same time as me.
Yeah.
I want to meet that person. It's like, yo, so I want to like compare experiences. Like, all right, you were born like 30 seconds before me. Okay, like what's your experience?
What's up with this experience?
What's your experience been like? I think that'd be really cool.
I feel like, even like with this exercise, it's like, all the things that we've known are being redefined. So it's kind of like even that, like I remember when I first heard about synergy, it was like used like in like a business context, like, like teamwork, like team building and all that stuff. Like that's when I first heard of it, and like, you have to mix, but they have to flow together and it's harmonious. And I feel like all that is like being redefined,
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, it feels like our whole world is being redefined, and like it can be tough because like even those of us who are kind of saw that this was coming or almost kind of ready for it, there are aspects of the old world. At least I know there are aspects of the old world that I still want, and I don't want them to go. Like I love sports still. I still love sports. And I still like video games. I'm like, I don't want those to go. There's certain things I don't want to go. Like I still love football. I still love basketball. And I still love soccer.
I felt like that was the turning point of this whole thing when sports got like kind of shut down and Disneyland, and then people were like, "What?
That's how you knew it was serious. Like, that's how you knew it was serious. Like, what? You're going to cancel sports?
What?
There's no way. Are you serious? That's when I knew it was like really serious.
I mean, they're trying to like have like, I guess, negotiate out here. They're thinking about doing the whole season, at least with baseball out here, which I don't know how that's gonna work, but
I don't know how it's gonna work either. I mean, I remember we went to, I think, the last home game before the lockdown of the Atlanta United soccer team. It might have been the last game before the lockdown period. But it was like 60,000 plus people out there. And then there was like this report that came out I think a day after that I was like, oh, there might have been like 5 people at that game that had corona. I'm like, I don't know how you came up with that number, but there's 60,000 plus people out here. So, I mean, there's not really much you can do about it. But it was like, looking back, I'm like, is that the last game I'm ever going to go to in that stadium?
Like, I know. I feel like there's so many things where I'm looking back, I'm like, like I never knew what it was to fly a plane like before 9/11. Like I've always known how to travel like the way I travel now, like take your shoes off, whatever. So it's like, there's so many things I think like, whoa, was that the last time that whoa, like
it almost makes you appreciate it a little bit more too.
Yeah.
Like it makes you like really kind of thankful. It's like, I'm glad I at least got to experience that. Hopefully things kind of start to come around. But I mean, the way that things were working, it seemed like it was working, but it really our souls really weren't agreeing with it. So there has to be change, and that's going to be difficult. But I think what's on the other side of that is going to be so much more worth it. Just hopefully not everything gets destroyed, but we'll see. We'll see what Pluto thinks about that, because Pluto doesn't play. Yeah, Pluto doesn't play. So,
oh man,
so I'm sitting as a Scorpio, and you get it too. It's like sometimes like I don't want to destroy everything, but then it's part of me like, it's so good though. It's like
I always think of it as like a bad dental cleaning. Like if you ever had a deep cleaning. And they kind of have to go in and like get all of it out. It's like they have to go in and clean it out.
That's actually kind of a perfect analogy, because Pluto is in Capricorn, and Capricorn rules the bones.
Yeah,
so that's what we're going through. We're like all sitting there. We're at the dentist right now, and we're like getting like this deep cleaning, and it's like we're not going to be able to talk for like a few days after.
And we haven't even probably finished that cleaning. You know how like there's the
no, we haven't finished it. We're still under. We're still we're probably still in the anesthesia. Like That's why it's so weird because like we're gonna wake up in a whole new world. It's like, wait,
What?
this isn't the same room I fell asleep in. What did you do?
Oh no.
That's
Yeah.
funny. But yeah, so I think we're gonna wrap it up here. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for joining. I know we only did a couple of writing sessions during this, but at the very least, you now have another tool, if you haven't known about this tool, in your arsenal to help you through this time and to help you no matter what time. To just grab a notebook and just get down and write. You don't have to have any idea what you're writing. You just go for it. And it's very healing. It's very subconscious. It's very off the cuff. It's not planned at all. So if you're a Virgo, I'm sorry. But it's a good practice, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And do you have anything else you'd like to say to everyone before we head out?
No, just take it a day at a time. Like, try not to get too overwhelmed, and try to ground yourself every day and work from there.
And drink your water and sleep. Drink enough water and sleep. And take your vitamins, kids. And brush your teeth. The way my dad describes it is that like this whole pandemic thing is that God is essentially like telling everyone to sit down and shut up. It's almost like we're like a bunch of people, like a bunch of little kids in a classroom, and there's like mass chaos, and God's like, quiet, and then everyone's just like silent.
Looking at each other, yeah.
It's almost like we're in like a timeout in a sense, but we'll be all right. You're right. Just take it a day at a time. So anyways, thank you so much for joining us on this video. We really appreciate it. And do you have your own YouTube channel and stuff, or do you kind of just?
I do. Yeah. It's BeetheInfinity.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, but I don't really post a whole lot, but you can contact me through there if you guys want to contact me for anything.
Yeah, check her out at BeetheInfinity and stuff. And of course, I'm here at Astro Fenixx. Hopefully I can kind of get in the groove and get a little bit more active, and been doing the moon transit videos again. So that's been fun. But I'm going to let you all go, and y'all have a blessed rest of your day. And as always, my beautiful brothers and sisters, always remember to keep moving forward, to stay focused, and Yahoo! Smile often. Later, guys. Take care. And